Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. Me, 25 female, and my fiance, 26 male, have been together for a decade and have our first child. Our relationship hasn't always been rainbows and sunshine, but it was steady and solid. Or so I thought. I just gave birth to our first child last November and am a stay-at-home mom, something we both decided and agreed to. My savings are substantial, since I earned really good money and saved early on. My savings were going to be used for our baby's necessities, while his income will cover the bills. The condo and 2 cars are under my name. The condo and my car are paid off. It's only his car that is not. I put half down of the amount as a down payment, so the monthly payments are not that high. Plus, with my good credit, the interest was low. I did have plans on paying off his car and putting it in his name when I got back to work. I'm currently on a 6-month hiatus from work due to sepsis from my C-section and other birth complications. Giving birth to our first child nearly k'd me. I came back from my postpartum appointment last week and heard my fiance's diabolical plan. I did not expect to record it, but the timing was just perfect. Let me set the stage. As I said, I came home from my postpartum appointment and was told I have a green light to devour my fiance. I gleefully went to Victoria's Secret to get lingerie and matching bras and panties because I was quite hot and ready to jump this man's bones again. I was recording myself in the Victoria's Secret bags when I heard him. I thought it was even more perfect that he was home already, and I got these goodies ready to show him. Possibly make a quick movie. So I continued recording, but instead, what I heard and recorded broke my heart. I'm so glad our baby can't understand what's going on yet, because I don't think I could handle explaining. My fiance of 10 years was cheating on me, had plans to take money from me through child support, but actually have his parents take care of our baby, is planning to take the condo and cars. I'm sick. I'm devastated. I'm distraught. I'm heartbroken. I stopped recording and quietly went to our bedroom with our baby and cried. I woke up to my baby crying and felt like a zombie. I was so numb, and my thoughts were all jumbled. The Victoria's Secret bags were still in the hallway. He laid next to me asleep and snoring, while I mustered the courage to send the recording to his parents. His parents blew up his phone in the morning, and in turn, he blew up on me, calling me names, slamming doors, punching walls. He forgot that we have cameras in the house, so everything is recorded. He said his parents are cutting him off, and it's all my fault. I embarrassed him and ruined his life. I had no right to record him. He said I'll regret it, and he will get everything I had. I told him to try me. I've already talked to a lawyer, and in our state, common law marriage is not recognized, and the person who the child lives with does not pay child support. Seeing as everything is in my name, he has to move out. I gave him the rest of the month to move out. His parents and brother have been reaching out to me and have been very supportive and apologetic. My side of the family doesn't know yet. He called many times and left voicemails, texts, and even emails and letters since I changed the lock on the doors and the code on the garage door. He wants to work it out and go to therapy. I honestly don't want to talk to him or work it out. I just want him out. I spent a decade of my life giving this man everything. I'm not perfect or a saint, but I've never and will never do something like that. I just want to move on. The only thing OP needs to do is ignore him, set it on mute, and forward anything and everything to her attorney. He's not worth it. He's only begging to go to therapy because he realized that he doesn't have the funds to live the way he used to when he was with OP. He has no problem destroying OP's life and their newborn baby's life. He had absolutely no regrets and set on putting his plan in motion. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Do not allow this man back into your life. That was some divine intervention type stuff. Do not squander this opportunity. What's heartbreaking is you truly care for him, and I know that hurts. You will have a moment of weakness at some point and will want to talk to him. But do not give him an inch. When someone tells you who they are, believe them. Not the a-hole. You didn't ruin his life. He did that all by himself. Cuddle your little bundle of joy and be glad that you removed him from your life. Who was he talking to? Did you ever find out who she is? because guaranteed it's a side chick. OP says, I don't know who he's talking to, and I don't care at this point. I'm sure it was his best friend, though. As for the cheating, I don't know who it could be. I can only assume it was during my stay at the hospital due to sepsis, and then being bedbound at home when I got discharged. Sorry for venting, but I need to do it. After 15 years of realizing how grumpy and entitled my sister is, I have to vent. The latest she has done happened when my wife and I got married in March, but truly started when we first sent our invites to the people we wanted to come to our wedding. Because of the cost of printing the physical invite, we leaned heavily on digital invites, Facebook group, emails, and direct messages, and made it known that if they wanted a physical one, all they had to do was message us their address and we would send it. When it comes to my sister, that's already hard to do as she moves nearly every 6 months. So out of the 70 people we invited, only 20 got an actual physical invite. When we sent her a digital invite, she accepted and didn't request a physical one, so we thought everything was fine. But then Christmas Eve happened, and we were all enjoying our dinner and having a nice family chat. Let it be known that only 4 people within my immediate family got a physical invite. No Facebook, as over 60 and don't want it. Then, suddenly, with no procreation, my sister starts to complain and cry about how she didn't get a physical invite, and after annoying everyone, she proclaimed that she refuses to come to our wedding out of spite, even though she already RSVP'd on our website. And in the end, our grandmother gave me the stink eye, and my wife and I accepted that she wasn't coming and told her if she changed her mind that she can come. A week later, my grandmother pleaded with us to let my sister come to the wedding because she told her how sorry she was, so we said she could, which made my grandmother happy. 3 weeks before the wedding, out of the blue, I get a message from my sister telling me how I was a toxic person and refuses to come to the wedding again and doesn't want to talk to me. Then proceeds to block me without letting me talk to her about it, and in the same day, messaged my wife about how bad of a person I am, and how she was a bad person. My wife is the kindest person you could ever meet. 2 weeks before the wedding, my wife and I are having lunch with my grandparents, and I tell them about what has happened, and they basically state, let her be, and she will come around. She has done this many times before. 1 week before the wedding, my grandmother starts getting on our case about how we should let my sister come to our wedding because she's really sorry about everything and wants to come. I reply she can come, but only if she apologized to me through text message or Facebook, and as herself instead of using our grandparents. 4 days before the wedding, while at work, I get a call from my uncle, which is a surprise because he usually doesn't call, mostly texts. So I pick it up thinking something bad has happened, and he proceeds to talk to me about letting my sister come to the wedding. Now, usually I would stand my ground, but my uncle rarely asks for a favor or gets involved in family drama. So when he says he will take personal responsibility for what my sister does and will keep an eye on her, so my wife and I allow her to come as we trust my uncle. Day of the wedding. My sister came in a semi-inappropriate dress for a wedding, and it generally went all right. A couple of death stares and some underbreath comments about what has happened. Fast forward to now, and I haven't heard from her since the wedding, and I'm happier for that, but it still pisses me off that she manipulated the whole family to get what she wanted, because we didn't want to waste a very limited budget on a physical invite that is not needed, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. She has been taking money from nearly all of the family, including me, and hasn't paid anyone back, and gets away with it because everyone has given up on her. I honestly am baffled. What did she actually want? I don't actually see her being refused anything at any point here. What the duck? During our childhood, she basically had complete control of me, and over the years, I think she wanted to remind me that she can control my life, or at the very least, that she can make my life a living hell, like the good old days. You love entitled people so much, I figured I'd give you a new deity to worship. My brother-in-law, in combination with my sister and his family. They got married about half a year ago, and while he was a stand-up guy, then he flipped some switch, and now I avoid him at all costs. Some backstory. I moved to a different country about a year ago for multiple reasons, and I'm happy here. It's not too far away from where I grew up, about 2-hour drive one way, so visits are still a thing just mostly in weekends or when I'm off for a few days. When I mentioned I was moving, there was some grumbling coming from his side, but I figured he was just looking out for me. We left it at that and continued on with our lives. Shortly after the marriage, my sister invited me to go on a kind of second honeymoon with them and his parents, as it's been a long time since I went on holiday, and because I needed to keep an aunt company, as she had lost her husband a while back and wanted to have some fun again. No worries. I paid for a lot of this at first: my flight, the transportation, the money exchange, all of the money he kept afterwards, while his parents, who are very, very rich, paid for the hotels, inland flights, and things we'd do there. I asked to pay them back, but just got a smile and was told it was okay. He sounds like an awesome brother-in-law, right? Yeah, this thing had a motive. One evening, the dad sat me down and had a quite intense talk with me. It started with who I was dating. At the time, no one, so I told him. He had a look of disapproval on his face, but continued on. Maybe this was for the best, he said. For the first 2 or 3 years, I should remain single so I could care for my not yet existing niece, nephew. My sister still isn't pregnant. And after that, if I hadn't found someone, he'd find me a suitable husband. I carefully mentioned that that is not on the table. I live too far for a casual babysitting trip, and I wasn't even going to entertain the arranged marriage proposal with an answer. He mentioned that I had my fun outside of the country, and I should go back to take care of my family. I am happy and earning more in that country than I could back home, and my family for now is still healthy and fine, so they don't need any caretaking. The conversation fizzles out after that, and I am quite taken aback and feel cheated as this fun trip was just a trap. A few months after, we've long since left the holiday behind us, and I'm moving on with my life, still in the current country. I decided that I was sick of high rent for tiny spaces and landlords that couldn't give a crap if everything around me was broken, so I am in the process of buying a house here. I told my mother, who was very, very happy for me, and asked her to keep it between her and Dad for now. My mom is lovely and a gem, and I wouldn't trade her for the world, but she cannot keep a secret to save her life. Not even an hour later, I get a rather passive-aggressive phone call of my brother-in-law asking me why I'm doing this. I don't think I have to explain my actions to him, but still I tell him. Sick of tiny, very expensive houses where I can't keep my dog and everything breaks all the time. He tells me, why don't I move in with my parents then again? Kind of baffled, I tell him I can't combine a work that'd take me 2 hours drive one way with a normal life. He scoffs like I'm stupid and tells me obviously I'd find a new job around my parents. Once more, I have to explain to him that I love my job here, am learning a lot of new things, and first of all, won't find any such job at my parents' place, and if I did, it wouldn't pay nearly as good. He tells me to think it over and let him know. He continues being entitled in different ways for a while to me, requesting I Photoshop things for him at a moment's notice, and being a very precise butthole over them afterwards, often taking up to 6 retakes because it's not exactly as he envisioned. Now, these retakes are often just a matter of cropping, which I explained he could do with any laptop that's younger than 30 years, and not being lazy, but he whines his butt off if I tell him to do it himself. It's not a big thing, but the revisions can often take up to 1 hour or more because of the back and forth and being unable to continue my job as I'm waiting for his reply. In the meantime, he also hijacks my Netflix account, which I pay for and share with my mom and sister, and him, because he installed it incorrectly on his smart TV, so it took up the main account, my account, and he'd been using it heavily and messing up my account. After multiple back and forths of me sending him tutorials, written and video, on how he could switch it to his or my sister's profile on my account, instead of my own, he never does anything about it until a month later when I threw in the towel and reset the kid's account to be my own, and pettily renamed my main to Brother-in-Law Insists TV. He has the gall to call me up asking if it's sorted now. I tell him in not so nice words that it is, because I fixed it in a way that doesn't serve me at all. I get emails for recommendations for their account now and lost all of my history and lists. And he insists it's fixed now and we should all be happy. Sure, fine, whatever. Don't get your panties twisted. A few days later, he calls me again. It starts off as a BS call asking, how am I doing during these viral times, and I must be lonely and must want to go back to my parents. I tell him I'm fine and I can't go due to the pandemic and their country closed its borders. He derails to the reason why he called me. Another impromptu Photoshop session that should take 5 minutes, but will take 1.5 hours because he is a perfectionist and petty, so long as he doesn't have to do the work. For those interested, it's revised medical scans he uses in publications, and the only thing that needs to be done is change the DPI to be higher, crop the image a bit, and occasionally throw some text or arrows on it, or up the contrast to make things more clear. As I said, not the biggest task, but it is when you're working with a perfectionist who, despite multiple times of me explaining it in such a way a toddler should know, let alone a doctor, he refuses to do any of it himself and will whine until I do it or sends my sister after me, who I don't have a terribly good relationship with, to cuss me out until I do. If he does the latter, he will deny he let her get involved, and she must have smelled he wasn't getting anything done from my end. The topic comes back to the house while I'm doing the photoshopping, because it's easier to have him revise via phone due to immediate reactions. He tells me I should wait because he needs to see and approve of the house before I should buy it. I ask him why. He has 2 left hands when it comes to any sort of handiwork, so he wouldn't be able to spot anything wrong with it. He tells me it's an investment because I'll be selling it off in a few years anyway when they have a kid and I return to my country. I tell him I have no such intentions, and if they want me to babysit, they can bring it all the way here if I have the time for it. Life continues, and a few days later, he contacts me again, asking me how I'm doing. He doesn't care. This is how he starts conversations when he's got need of me. I tell him I have to work 13 hours that day, as we're running a new release. He casually mentions that I can do his thing after work. Yeah, buddy, I'll work from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., and then call you to listen to you being a petty jerk about Photoshop until 10 p.m. I am stoked. I mention again that I am busy in such a way I don't downright have time to decline, because he'd get my sister involved and I wasn't looking forward to a cussing out session and a guilt trip that day. He keeps pushing and poking, and I submit to his request, willing to add another hour onto my work as I take an hour off midday that I can tack on to the end of my shift. He's being extremely petty about cropping, things I showed him multiple times he could do himself, and even linked a video tutorial of 30 seconds to him for him to learn that way. He whines his butt off again, and I lose my cool. I only get contacted by him to do something for him. He involves himself entirely in my life and doesn't see anything wrong with it. I have a bit of a meltdown at him, not even a harsh one, just stating that he only knows my number if I need to do something for him, and that when I ask anything of him, like fixing the Netflix of mine he broke, he waits until I fix it myself and then pats himself on the back for being so awesome. Other than that, I was quite polite about it and just stated my feelings of feeling used and not liking how he's trying to make me give my life so his will be improved. I even apologized 30 minutes after, telling him I might have been a bit harsh, but he needs to see things from my perspective every now and then. Not even an hour later, I get a disappointed message from my mother. He sent 2 text messages out of the 20+ in which I'm telling him once again how he can do this without having to bother me and asking him not to bother me right now because 13-hour shift, which became 14 hours because he intervened. So he manipulated the way he presented it to my mother so I would be seen as a rude bee while he was innocent and only wanted a bit of help. Sad face. I texted him back, telling him if he seriously just tried to put my own mom against me with his pettiness, and he brushes it off as my sister having done that. Still, I get a chewing out from my sister later that night, so I know this wasn't the case. I have to explain to my mom with hands and feet that he's presenting it in a wrong light, and I texted her the wall of text I had with him, in which I was calm until he started being petty and uncooperative, which triggered me. She refused, telling me he called her up, almost in tears, and how he's willing to forgive me because I have it hard and I'm lonely all the way up there, etc., etc. This is the most recent happenstance I had with this guy. It runs deeper, going all the way to presenting me into baking special things for him, and him then whining he can't share it with his mom because she can't eat eggs. Religious reasons, not allergies. Despite him never saying it was for her and other stuff like that. Him teasing me into breaking up with a date because he was obviously using me and wasn't as rich or as well off as himself, etc. He's never pleased and uses my sister as a weapon against me to do as he wants. Hope you enjoyed. Have a nice day. He sounds like a psychopath. You need to cut all ties with this person immediately. Record all of his calls from now on and send the recordings to your mother and sister later when you get enough. Looks like a toxic person or a person with childish mentality, but he is also manipulative. You need to stand up for yourself. No one can help you except yourself, and you need to limit interactions with him. Don't fall into the trap. Start limiting interactions with him and make your mother understand what is going on. OP, you should really stop doing things for him and tell your sister that if she is calling just to cuss you out, that you will just hang up. As for your Netflix account, change your password, cut him off, and tell him to get his own. He's a doctor. He can afford it. If I were you, I'd go no contact, but that's what I would do. At least until they are ready to treat you right.